Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with Inside the U back here again. Miami Hurricanes fall camp practice number 9. They had a light practice today, and there was no viewing period or interviews afterwards, but I do want to talk a little bit about the upcoming scrimmage, which will be tomorrow. And as you can see behind me, the field looks great. They've repainted the lines. They're still getting the finishing touches ready to go for that, and it'll be in the morning. However, once again, no viewing and no interviews, but still look for reports, information to come out from the scrimmage. Will be on InsideTheU.com, so definitely stay tuned there, especially for VIP subscribers. And for me, for the scrimmage, just asking the question of who has the most to gain, who has the most to prove, kind of in that lines. And to me, the way I've heard about how things have gone, the things I've seen, the little that we've seen throughout fall practices, to me, I think the offense needs to have a big day in the first scrimmage. And that begins with the first team offense, Cam Ward, the passing attack in particular. I think that these guys got to really get things going offensively. I also think on the offensive line, it's got to be a big day. There are guys on the offensive line because of how Alex Mirabal has been rotating guys in with that top unit, still trying to figure out what exactly are the right pieces, whether it's moving guards to tackles or tackles to guards, or just really trying to find that right fit, or even just getting some different looks at center, whatever it might be. There are certainly some projected starters based on the guys coming back from a year ago. But a guy in particular on the offensive line, I'll get more back into Cam Ward in the passing game, but on the offensive line, someone who I think really needs to have a strong scrimmage to really solidify himself as a guy that they can count on, and that's Samson Okunlola. Last year limited with the injury there. He is back. He's been rotating between guard and tackle, and I think he's definitely pressuring for a high-level position this year, a high-level role. But I think, again, with the way that coaches speak about the full padded practice compared to an actual live hitting event like a scrimmage, I think it's really important for a guy like Samson to really have a strong performance in the scrimmage. Again, he's trying to hold off other guys. Other guys are looking for playing time as well. And because that they're willing to move guards to tackles and tackles to guards, whatever it might be, I think a guy like Samson really needs a strong one to really prove to everybody that he is one of the 5 best offensive linemen on this team, especially heading into the game against Florida on August 31st, which at this point feels just right around the corner. Again, I just think it's an important day for the offensive line to come out and play well, especially against a defensive line that has been pressuring the quarterback well and really putting a lot of pressure on the offensive line thus far in fall camp based on things I'm hearing. Again, and some of the things I've seen in some of the drills. And certainly with Cam Ward, there's a lot of hype for him coming into the season. ACC preseason player of the year, despite not playing in the conference after what he did in the Pac-12 there. And I think he really needs to have a strong day passing the ball. I think the wide receivers need to have a big day. I think they should have a big day against this secondary, but it just needs to be more consistent. The plays downfield, Jacoby George was certainly excited about, he said he wanted to put on a show. He said that this week in interviews, so we'll see. Jacoby's a guy. Again, I think it's 4 guys to look for at wide receiver: Xavier Restrepo, Isaiah Horton, Jacoby George, and Sam Brown. All 4 are more than capable of making plays. And I think too with the passing game, just seeing Cam make on-schedule throws. He's certainly known for those off-schedule throws when plays break down, rolling off to his left or right, or scrambling, stepping up in the pocket. He's been good at that in his collegiate career, and we have seen glimpses of that at times throughout practices, either spring or fall. But I think kind of being more on schedule, making sure guys are getting open immediately, and really finding good rhythm offensively with the passing attack is certainly going to be important, I think, for Cam. And as far as the plays breaking down, I think that's going to be something that the receivers will continue to work on with him in game-like atmospheres, whether it is actual games during the season or scrimmages like this, but really kind of, again, understanding what kind of quarterback and seeing things that Cam sees, or not breaking off on your routes and ending a route too early, and maybe not running the exact route, or continuing on with a different route to find a pocket in the defense. I think that's going to be important playing with Cam, because he can be very good at when he lengthens the play and really extends play. So that'll be something to that will be a continuous thing to work on. Again, not just for the first scrimmage, but I think throughout the season, especially in the non-conference schedule, just really getting into a good rhythm, in some game atmospheres with Cam, and again, with those kind of extending plays. And just a few other notes on the defensive line before I wrap this up. You know, thinking about a guy like C.J. Clark and Marley Cook, you know, I haven't heard too much about them yet in fall camp, so that's just something to keep in mind. And then also a couple other notes that I noticed from day one of fall camp, and many of you did as well when the rosters came out, and that's defensive tackle Simeon Barrow in number 10, and then also with Artavius Jones getting the number 42. And 10 and 42 are numbers that have been retired at Miami, and nobody's worn them, you know, since they retired the numbers. You know, Jim Dooley in the 42, George Meyer in the 10, and it's certainly noteworthy. Those are 2 of the 4, now 5 numbers that are retired, as Gino Toretto's 13 was retired last year. And I found it very noteworthy. Yeah, I'm trying to find more information on that, but certainly they are going to wear those numbers. So that's something to watch. And I don't know what the tie is with Barrow in the number 10, because he wore number 8 throughout his time at Michigan State. And as far as I know, he wore 9 and 58 in the high school level, but Jones did wear 42 when he was in high school. So that's just something I find to be very interesting, you know, covering this program for a long time. Just a couple noteworthy things that they've decided to not have those numbers truly be retired. And maybe you'll see the 89, maybe the 14 from Testaverde, somebody wearing those in the near future. Just something to watch for and something to pay attention to. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Again, big scrimmage on Saturday. Really looking forward to hearing how that goes, both positively and negatively. So again, stay tuned to InsideTheU.com for more information on that. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for your support. Really appreciate it. Week 2 nearly in the books, and hopefully have a good rest of the day. Take care.